Hey everybody, this is episode 2 of the official BeatzCoin podcast. I am your host, Alex Guerra, and we are rolling right along, having fun, talking to all sorts of people. And as we kick things off with this podcast, we definitely want to cater to the Tron community because we know that's where most of our early listeners are going to come from. And today I had the privilege of talking to David DAprile from IamDecentralized.org. So this is a site that is going to be bringing the Tron Foundation, the super reps, and the community together with the most accurate information available. So stay tuned and listen to what he has to say. We talked a little bit about his entrance into cryptocurrency and how he became a part of the Tron community and exactly what he has going on with this project. So guys, slowly but surely these Podcast 101 classes are paying off. So if you hear a little muffling, a little crackling, a little choppiness, just give me about till episode 47, maybe 147, and I'll probably be an expert by then. Alrighty, without further ado, here's David DAprile. All right, everybody. I'm with David DAprile with IamDecentralized.org. How you doing, David?
Not bad. How about yourself, Alex?
Not too bad, man. I'm really excited to talk with you a little bit about what you have going on, a little bit about cryptocurrency and the Tron community, what's going on there. A lot of exciting stuff right now. I recently just followed you and I had to catch up, but you have a lot of great content that you provide for the community. But I wanted to start by asking for you to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, again, Dave DAprile. I'm an entrepreneur here in Dallas, Texas. I've been in the
down the road from me.
Down the road from H-Town. I've had a couple of companies for several years now. I've been in the banking industry and such, and got into crypto, let's say about a year ago. And then I fell into Tron and fell in love with the concept, and it's been bliss ever since, although a little bit difficult with the times that we're having.
Oh, I can imagine. But everyone has their own little crypto story, so tell me exactly how you got into cryptocurrency.
I was on a message board for my beloved Oklahoma Sooners, and the guys were talking about a company called Ripple.
Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield, the GOAT himself. And I decided to look into Ripple, and it was all the rage. And I started to buy in to Ripple. I started making some pretty good income off of it. And then I grew into several different tokens. Of course, Tron. I was into Verge at some points and several other tokens. But I seem to have found a home working in the community of Tron. So that's really what got me here.
Yeah, so what was the first cryptocurrency that you actually purchased?
Ripple.
Awesome.
That would be Ripple, XRP.
All right, and when did you first hear about Tron? And what convinced you that Tron was going to be a major player in the crypto space?
You know, I was researching a lot of the newer tokens out at the time, and I had seen TRX and all the, I guess you would call it the hype and the shilling back in the day. And then I saw the token just shoot up. And I thought, oh, well, this is going to be a great token. It's a little late for me to get into the game. But then it came right back down. And, of course, you start doing your own research. And I saw the vision that Justin had. And I thought, okay, this is a little bit different. This isn't a one-use token. This is a long-term project that's going to change the world the way we view it, and especially through our eyes and also our ears. I said, I want to be a part of that. So I invested into it, and I've sat back and, just like everybody else with the market, watched, your potential income take a bit of a hit over time. I'm not so worried about it anymore, but it was an interesting road to get to this point, but I'm sure excited to be here right now.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of us are on the same boat when it comes to that. But what you were telling me earlier, from the ICO, we're still, what, 900% up?
I believe that's accurate. Yeah, it's all in the eyes of the beholder. I mean, when you go from nothing to, I think 30 cents was the all-time high, or 27 cents.
Mm-hmm.
And then
without a
I
product,
think that
too.
Without a product, right, which is, well, crypto. I mean, that's just the bottom line. Most of these ICOs don't have much of a product. And then you watch it drop, substantially. Now, you remember that was, I think, a 5-day period when it went from a few cents up to that 27. It didn't take long for it to blow up. And then, of course, it just came right back down. But people have to realize the traders and the whales are going to push coins up, and they're going to bring them right back down. And unfortunately, you have many inexperienced investors in the market. And to use the terminology wrecked, many have been wrecked as we've gone along. So it's been an interesting road.
You told me before they only think two things. What are those two things?
Oh, gosh. Go ahead. Remind me. We talked about so much.
That's all they talk about. One moon, one Lambo, right?
That's right. One moon, one Lambo. The two sayings that I just can't stand. One Lambo. For me, it's one island. So
right. Or one mortgage in my case.
One mortgage. Right. There you go.
Yeah, my friends like to shoot me texts all the time. One moon, one Lambo. And I'm like, oh, geez, come on. But, the truth is, I feel that we're such in a great place right now with Tron because of what they're achieving and how they're executing on literally everything they say. It almost puts the price of TRX on the back burner, don't you think?
Yeah, everybody sees the success of a token or a coin based upon its price, and I think that's the biggest mistake that anybody could make. The days of something taking a skyrocket by several dollars or whatever, they're over. You're not going to see a repeat of 2017. It's just not going to happen. So many tokens came out, these ICOs, and all this hype, and money went through the roof, and many people made a substantial amount of money around the world. It's changed their lives. But the opposite side of that coin is many people lost it. 2018 is the year of the reckoning and the correction. And I think that, as I posted on a nice little Twitter feed, I think 2019 is going to be the rise of the Phoenix. I think we're going to come out of it. You have so many great tokens out there and great coins that are now becoming, coming out of the infancy stages, and they're going to become adults. And you look at the changes in Tron and what they've done in a very, very, very short period of time. But what most people don't understand is this has been in the works for many years with Justin.
Oh, absolutely. That was going to lead to my next question about these. When you mentioned ICOs, we know we have the Tron virtual machine that's going to be launching pretty soon. So developers who are on Ethereum will be able to migrate over. But what do you think about the impact or potential impact from the TRC20 tokens and the dApps that are going to be launching on the Tron network?
Well, I mean, once TVM launches, it's a complete game changer. What'll be 7 days out, I believe, 7 or 8 days out from that launch. At that point, I guess you can consider it game on. Developers, there's no cost for them to develop. There are programs where they can actually get money from Tron to help them develop. You got the SRs that have their hands in the mix. It's basically it's a virtual playground for developers to come onto the Tron network. If you had any gumption whatsoever, you'd be there because there's virtually no cost. What is it, 1,024 to launch tokens onto? I mean,
that's why we see so many joke tokens out there because it literally costs nothing.
Yeah, it's a lost leader for them. They want the liquidity. They want as many developers on their net as humanly possible. And I get it. I understand and look at the big picture. On its own merits, if you just look at, there's a small amount of dApps on there at this point, but that's going to grow. We all know it's going to grow. It won't take long.
Right, absolutely. We have so many that are in the works already, including the one I'm a part of, BeatzCoin. Gotta plug mine in. Changing the music industry. You've got the decentralized exchanges that are coming out. That's going to help with it too.
Yep.
And definitely a few others. I do think. What's your opinion as far as with the Tron virtual machine? Do you think what's going to make more of an impact? The DApps coming out, building straight brand new from the Tron network, or developers that are migrating over?
That's interesting. I don't have an opinion on that. I can add a caveat to that. That will basically, I will say make them not counting, but Project Atlas, I think, is going to be the game changer. By and large, that's the bellwether for Tron. Q4 with Project Atlas is going to be what's going to change the game.
Right,
and everything else will follow suit.
Yeah, absolutely. Other than the developers migrating over, it's also going to take adoption, right? We need to let people know about Tron, and I wanted to talk about Operation Tron Storm. We have you guys to think about that, right?
Yeah, actually, myself and a couple of guys, Curtis Kitchen, T. Wolf, we're just three guys that love Tron, and we came together a few months back and thought, how can we get the word out? What can we do within the community to try and get the word out? And we came up with Operation Tron Storm. And we worked through, launched with the same time that Go Seed It came out, and it was a huge success. We were so surprised and taken back by the community support, and we got some great media coverage. It was an exciting time, and we're into our next phases moving forward with imdecentralized.org. So we have more programs in store.
Awesome. Fantastic. Speaking of imdecentralized.org, I had no idea what that was until you told me a little bit about it. So please tell the people and our listeners what we have to look forward with the website. Well,
like I was saying earlier with Curtis and with T. Wolf, we're part of the community. And the way Justin has set up the decentralized nation, as you would call it, with super representatives, which are 27, and they leave it up to us to, I guess, regulate or govern the chain. With them leaving it up to the SRs, there needs to be the intermediary between the SRs and the community. And we are the community. There is not a unified voice. When we launched Operation Tron Storm, we thought, my gosh, this is a great way for us to represent the community and give them a unified voice. So I guess if you looked at it from not a political standpoint, but a government standpoint, you would have Tron, it'd be the administration, you would have the SRs, which would be the Senate, and then you would have something like imdecentralized.org as Congress, because we want to represent their voice. We want to connect those dots and get the correct information from the foundation back down to the people. We saw a need, and we're going to fill it the best we can.
And that's hugely important because we see so many coins with a lot of FUD, right? From EOS to I can't think of any other ones off the top of my head, but projects that haven't even developed as much as Tron has. And here we are, and I think it's running pretty smoothly, but just to put something like this website together is going to add another layer of legitimacy to the project. Because honestly, everything's gone pretty smooth, but I mean, there are a few examples, where we need a little bit more clarity as far as what's going on with the SRs and the foundation. Sure.
I spend a lot of time on Twitter just explaining to people some of the misinformation that's out there because they don't quite understand it. I mean, let's be quite honest. If all of us in the community were techies, and we'd all be creating something like Tron, we're not. You've got some extremely intelligent people, and I'm not trying to knock the community. It's not what most of us do for a living. you've got some extremely intelligent folks up at the top of Tron and all the way through BitTorrent that are putting an absolute monster together to change the internet as we see it. So when there's a discrepancy or there's something of the unknown or there's some FUD that's thrown out, you've seen what FUD can do to a token or a coin. It can drop its value. Then there's a lot of backpedaling. And a lot of it is misinformation or just a misunderstanding.
Right. I can think of an example where, you guys pretty much nipped that in the butt when we were talking about the circulating supply versus the total supply and the rewards.
Correct.
Once people were able to understand, yes, it's, part of its total supply. These are new tokens, but why are they new tokens? And just being able to talk about it and reason through whether some people disagreed or not, they were actually able to, really just come to terms with it and say, okay, well, this is what it is, and this is what they're planning to do and why they're planning to do it that way.
Right. With the rewards, it just, again, it's communication. The foundation had an understanding that the community would know why they did the initial coin burn in the first place of 1 billion tokens. Of course, when people see the actual count going up, everybody's like, wait a second, why is the count going up? And if you're not following Tron, you're going to think, okay, there's FUD here. Something's going on. This is a scam. It's supposed to go down. And it's not. A big case in point why we think that IamDecentralized.org can be the focal point for the community to go get the information, put it in layman's terms.
Bingo.
And because I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, I'm part of the community, and that's the only place we want to be is within the community. And that's why we don't want to have a centralized, that's a bad word, but a centralized website where we can pull all the information in so folks around the world can go to the site, get the information that they need, and understand it.
Not only does this help within the community, but it helps outside of the community. So a bunch of investors who are thinking about joining and investing in Tron and using Tron, they're going to be held with a lot clearer information.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of people out there on Twitter that, like to call Tron a specific type of coin, starts with an S. I won't say it on the cast. And one of the things that I always do is I always respond by give me some facts. Give me the facts by which you've made your decision about what type of a coin this is. And I'm going to tell you something, Alex. I've never gotten a response. Not
because
one
there's nothing
time.
that they can say. There's nothing
they can say. They just have an opinion. They probably got wrecked. Let's be honest. They got hammered.
Yeah.
Or they just don't trade it. They haven't made any money off of it. So that's fine. If the foundation knows that there's something awry within the community, then they're more apt to fix it. And remember, this is a democratic token. So if there's an issue, then they're going to go and fix it because that's what the SRs are there for. All right, their votes count. Well, you've got the community that's going to put pressure on the SRs. If they don't like something, they're going to voice it. They're going to let it be heard. And I'm going to tell you something right now. The foundation listens. That's a promise. I know this for a fact.
That's awesome. Yeah, you see all this. You see all the hype go to coins like Ethereum and EOS and projects with their own platforms, and people kind of put Tron on the back burner. But the truth is, with this system put in place, I think there's just way more potential. People just don't look at it because they just see the price and they see how it's gone down and it hasn't gone up yet. And they're kind of like, whatever. Oh, Tron is still a thing? Oh, wow.
Well, I mean, you got to remember, everybody talks about when Lambo, when Moon. Everybody thinks that they're going to spend $100 and within a few weeks, they're going to get $1 million. It just doesn't happen that way. And again, those days are over. I mean, it's just not going to happen like that anymore. You're going to have, especially when it comes to institutional money, you better have a working product.
Right.
And Tron has it.
Yeah. And the ecosystem needs to be filled with real case use projects
That's
people
right.
who are going to transact the coins and use
Mm-hmm.
them in applications that solve real world problems.
Sure. BitTorrent alone is going to bring over 100 million users into the fold. And once that happens, then you're going to start people FOMOing into the coin because they're going to see the price movement, and it's going to be a cascading effect. Now, I don't have a crystal ball, and I'm not going to ever say what type of a price we're going to get. But I would guarantee you that you can combine every token in the whole crypto space. Combined, they don't have 100 million users, not even close. So there's not one token that can name it. Tron can. Tron has 100 million, and they're waiting. So they're just going to be monetized for something that they're already doing. Man. Not too difficult to know what happens once that gets turned on in Q4 of this year.
You kind of just got to stop and think about that and really put it into perspective.
Mm-hmm. You do. I mean, you have Tron does not care. The foundation does not care about the price right now. They're working on the tech. They know everything else is going to fall into line. They know what's coming. And there's probably as a matter of fact, I know there's a lot that we don't know right now that they have cooking. I mean, name one token or coin that was just able to go out and spend $140 million in buying a company and is now profitable. There are none.
Yeah, that's one of the things that impressed me while watching their latest live stream on the virtual machine. Tron is already bringing in tens of millions of dollars. What other coin does that? Seriously?
Not many. Not many. And your Ethereums of the world, and some of the big boys, the big players that are out there. Of course, they're profitable to some extent, but something like Tron that's less than a year old, none of them. And every token would want to trade places with Tron.
Yeah, Justin Sun's doing a fantastic job. I don't know if you saw the latest post on Twitter.
Oh gosh, what did he say this time?
Someone was talking about stop deploying DApps on ETH.
Oh yes, one of their developers, I think, right, said something like that. Wasn't that what it was?
And then Justin chimes in, yes, please stop deploying DApps to Ethereum and migrate to Tron Network immediately. We are 100 times faster than ETH and fully compatible with Ethereum. We 100% guarantee better user experience.
How can you not like a guy like that? Anybody that's basically coming after your company with a smile on his face, I mean, those are the types of guys you need to be afraid of, not the bullies that are mean. Business is business. And I think what Justin is doing is good for crypto. He's going to make everybody up their game.
Oh yeah. He's a good businessman, and I think he's got Vitalik really upset there.
He's got him a little bit up in arms. You could say that. I think it's great. I like seeing these big wigs go at each other. It makes the space that much better. And those communities are divided. Ethereum has their folks. Tron has millions around the world that support it. So it's going to be fun to watch. The coming months are going to be very exciting.
So, David, I want to retrace back to iamdecentralized.org. What can we look forward to as far as more specifics on the site, and when can we look forward to it launching?
Well, our target is November. And as far as specifics on the site, as we talked about earlier, it's a community-based site. It's information, news, pretty much anything you can think of, from the novice trader or investor to someone who's been in it for quite some time. We want it to be the focal point for anybody to go to get the correct information. So some of the highlights, I'd say, we're going to do interviews with all the SRs. We're going to do interviews with the token creators. We have a couple of developers that already have websites out that we're going to link in. Obviously, we're going to do some great podcasts with you, have you interview a bunch of people out there for us. You're welcome. We're going to have some charters come in to do some technical analysis on Tron on a weekly basis to let people kind of know what's going on there within the market. And it's going to grow. It's a site by the community for the community, and that's what's important. So we're going to listen to our community leaders and the people that are out there. We want them to tell us the information and different features that they would like to see in the site, because we want to have them be able to help us with all of our content, which we think was important.
Right. Yeah. And one thing that I can think of personally that would have been very helpful from the beginning is that you're going to have on the site is those profiles for the super representatives.
Sure.
Who are these guys? What are they doing? Why am I voting for them? When I first started staking my coins on TronScan, I had to do a little bit of homework as far as where to allocate those TRX.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a while because here I am on Telegram chatting with some of the developers of Sesame Seed, Team Tronics, and a bunch of the other guys. And you really got to see, because there's so many good SRs out there. It's which one suits you best, Do you want to support other? Yeah, go ahead.
It's not going to be our position to take sides. Our position will be neutral with the SRs, put the information out to the community and let the community decide. That's the democratic way. I'm familiar with several of the SRs. I've had great conversations with Crypto Guy and ZA, Team Tronics, of course, Tronics, Sesame Seed's been fantastic. Tron Spark right here in my backyard. And that's just the beginning. And again, I don't want to put anyone over the other, but I think it's just as important for the community to not only know who the SRs are, but who are the founders behind these tokens. Because there's so many, and I hate using the word scams. I actually had it happen to me on TronScan. I thought I was purchasing IGG tokens. Turns out someone put IGG on there as a duplicate, and I chose the wrong one. I didn't lose a lot of money, but I lost money. The community needs to know about it. The community needs to know about it. And to go from that, I actually posted it on Twitter. And this is what I love about the Tron community. One of the gentlemen, I won't name him, actually tipped me the amount of IGG tokens that I lost from my purchase. Awesome. And that's what's cool about it. I love the Tron community. They're there to support each other. And we've got a great team building this site. Curtis Kitchen from Twitter, Misha Liederman, John from Twitter. That's our team moving forward. And we're real excited to put this site together. And it's our commitment to make it the best community site in the world.
Absolutely. And you guys said you guys are partnering with Tron Tokens?
No, I wouldn't say partnering. It's just that there's trontokens.org. We're actually going to be using some of their information on our site. And they have a lot of things that are coming out. And that's our goal, is we want to work with all the developers within the Tron community. If there's any informational site out there that's going to help
is like
the
a rating system, right?
It is a rate. It's not a rating system. It's more of giving you who's good and or bad. Now, of course, there's a feature on TronScan that's talking about the good and the bad of the neutral. But this particular site is independent. But that's the beauty of our community. As these sites come out, we want to pull them into our site as well and get it out there to the masses. We all want to support each other. We'll support all the SRs and their websites and all the tokens in their websites. But if you're not legitimate, the community's sure going to know about it quickly.
Absolutely. David, it's been awesome chatting with you. How can people get in touch with you?
Actually, through Twitter, Mob Rules 1968, or you can get a hold of Curtis Kitchen at Curtis Kitchen or Misha Liederman at Misha Liederman. It's pretty easy stuff. Just reach out to us on Twitter, send us a DM. We'll help you any way we can moving forward, and we'll keep you updated on how we're coming along with IamDecentralized.org.
That's awesome, man. It's great to have people like you in the Tron community here from the beginning and writing everything out. So many exciting things that are going to be popping up left and right, and price action is going to come with it, but just so many other things ahead of that we have to look forward to.
Yeah. People have to be patient.
It's going to be fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. Quarter four is going to be huge. Project Atlas, they're banking on Project Atlas. It's going to be big. That's going to be the game changer. So everybody just needs to sit back, The price will take care of itself. Just give it time.
Awesome, David. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome, buddy. Have a good day.
That was episode 2 of the official BeatzCoin podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please make sure to follow us on Twitter at BeatzCoin. If you want to follow me personally, my Twitter handle is at ProGuerra, PROGUERRA. And make sure to subscribe to our channel on whichever platform you're listening to us on. And we have some very good conversations lined up with some people that are not only Tron enthusiast, but within the music industry. So we'll get a look into their lives and learn a little bit about them. So stay tuned for what's to come. Thank you.